Hello, this is a red smoke, and this is a video response to fuck, I forgot her name. Hold on. Okay, Go Green 18, that's her name. This is a response to her video about the God helmet, and I think that's really interesting. I've never heard about that. That's a good sort of, that's a good thing for people to study. Hopefully understand the neurology of spiritual experiences more. And, I'm sure a lot of atheists and agnostics watch that, or they read about that, about those studies, or hear about them or whatever, and they're like, oh, well, that makes sense, because then that just means that a spiritual experience is, it's an induced state of mind, kind of like being on drugs or something like that. And so, but then again, atheists are always looking for ways to dismiss the idea of God. Not that they have it out for God or anything like that. They're just, they're just putting things together in their view of life. Just like theists are always looking for, or they always see and they find connections that are like, oh yeah, well, of course God exists, because, this and this and this. And I just want to kind of, and I might be wrong. I might have not really understood Go Green 18's intentions in that, because she's an agnostic leaning towards atheist, which basically sounds like she's an atheist, an agno-atheist, or some, I don't know what the fuck you would call that. But and so, atheists generally like to use Occam's razor and like, oh, well, it's an induced state of mind, so, blah, blah, blah. But see, theists look at it in a different way. And see, I'm a theist myself, but I consider myself a rational theist. Like, I believe in God, but I also believe in evolution. I believe in science. I trust science more than I trust religion. I'm not a religious person, really. I'm not a member of any religion. I have my own religion, so I guess I could be considered religious, but I'm not. I don't subscribe to any of these, antiquated religious dogmas or anything like that. I believe in God, but I use my mind. So basically what I was thinking when I was watching that was, it's like when somebody does drugs, especially like hallucinogens, like they do acid or something like that, and they like feel God. There's a couple ways of looking at it, because especially that person, especially if they believe in God. I mean, if you don't believe in God, maybe you don't even feel God, or maybe you feel what you might think is God, and you're like, oh, well, I was just on drugs. But obviously, if someone believes in God and then they do drugs and they feel God, then they're like, oh, that was God, But my point is, who's to say that they don't feel God? Who's to say that they're not actually feeling God when they're wearing the God helmet? Maybe there is, maybe humans are discovering ways to, intune ourselves. And maybe people who have a more sensitive right temporal lobe are more spiritual, Maybe it's real, But, another thing I want to say is that it's really easy for people who don't believe in God or who are doubting the existence of God, it's easy for them to rationalize spiritual experiences away, to being like, oh well, it's a delusion, or it's a hallucination, or it's just some sort of altered state of mind for some reason. And that's and that's really easy to say, but I've had spiritual experiences that it's basically indescribable, and that's the whole thing. And atheists are always like, oh well, you ask a theist about God, and they're just like, oh well, it's something I can't describe. It's something that you can't understand unless you experience it for yourself, and that's just a bullshit excuse because they don't have a real answer. But fuck, there's no other way to describe it. There is no way to describe it, And I've had intense spiritual experiences, and I tried to put them down in words. I tried writing them. I've tried speaking about them. And it's just like, it's inadequate. Words are just inadequate. It's just something that you can experience. And I know that I'm saying all this shit, and it's like, it's rubbish to the ears of an atheist, but I don't care, whatever. But, okay, think about, like, religion. There are, just think about the Hare Krishnas, like chanting, dancing, and chanting and stuff like that, and they're like, bah, 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 and they're saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and that's really how they do it too. That's the correct sequence. But fuck, try doing that for like 20 or 30 minutes straight. You're gonna have a spiritual experience. You know what I'm saying? You could be chanting anything. Chanting and dancing and all that shit. Fuck, I'm feeling a little spiritual right now. But religion is really corrupted, and people have started using it for corrupt social means. But I think that its roots are pure, and it's evolutionary. I'm doing some sort of like weird sort of voodoo right now. It's evolutionary. Religion evolved. Hell, maybe the first, religious ceremonies were people dancing naked around a fucking campfire and howling into the air or something. I don't know. But, I'm just equating religion and religious practices with this God helmet. And this God helmet is a technology that could potentially help people to have more spiritual experiences. Hell, it could even turn into some sort of drug type thing where people get addicted and they need the fucking God helmet. But in religion, you can think of it as sort of a cultural technology. And I think religion is very... I'm fucking Jesus, bitch! I'm fucking Jesus! There, go fuck yourself.